So for more on all this, House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy. Leader McCarthy, let's get you on record as what you think about the trip to Afghanistan by the two congressmen overnight.
Look, I don't think it's the best decision because you put people in jeopardy as a member of Congress taking away the work. But I understand why they would want to go. You could not get the number of names of how many Americans were there from the Biden administration. The Democrats here called us back but wouldn't work on it, spent time just twisting arms to pass trillions of dollars. They're more concerned about social spending than saving Americans. I think it was just the frustration that they felt that these are veterans, that they felt they had to do something. And for Nancy Pelosi to criticize them after she wouldn't spend any moment of time, she stayed late into the night into her office, twisting arms to spend trillions of dollars. What about those Americans who are late into the night in Afghanistan trying to find a way to that airport? She should have spent a little time on that.
There's a famous saying from the Taliban that you have the clocks, but we have the time. But it seems that right now, the Taliban has the clock and the time. And yesterday, when President Biden came out to give his speech, instead of meeting the moment, he started with the Build Back Better $3.5 trillion plan that had just passed the House. What did you think of that?
I think he's ruined our reputation on a world stage. I think he's allowing the Taliban to direct our reputation, but more importantly, our foreign policy. When you have countries such as the UK and France that are in Afghanistan for only one reason, that America was attacked, that are begging us to extend the deadline past the 31st so they can get their citizens out, that the president sides with the Taliban because the Taliban told him when, that is a very sad day for America. And you know what Nancy Pelosi said on the floor? That it was a good day for America and Democrats because all they focused on was the spending and what the president talked. Are they so tone deaf that they don't know what's happening in the world? That this is not going to harm us for the next week. This is going to harm us for the next 2 decades. That we are leaving Americans behind. And when he gives the date, President Biden, of August 31st, it's really the 28th. That's when all the troops have to be out. So they have to start shutting down now. What are you telling those Americans? And maybe they're not in Kabul, but they're somewhere in Afghanistan.
Sir,
how will they get out?
Doesn't it seem like this is a deliberate strategy? I mean, that they want to take the focus off of overseas and put it on America. That they want to tee up the $5 trillion and get it done now. I mean, to them, this is not a crazy idea. To them, this is a strategy, and it's deliberate.
It is a selfish strategy. The other thing they did was change election law yesterday, that you don't show ID when you vote. A public servant should be caring about the public, not themselves. The Democrats showed their true colors of what they truly believe. In one of the greatest crises that America has faced, in a moment of time when you look for a public servant to put the public before yourself, the Democrats did the complete opposite. And for the White House to spend time, President Biden, calling Democrats to twist their arms to vote on that when we had Americans in harm's way, I don't understand this in any state or form. I mean, this should not be political. This should be Americans should come first, the lives of Americans. You were the commander-in-chief. You were the leader of the free world, and you just allowed the Taliban to dictate our foreign policy. You just shunned our allies, our greatest supporters, who risked their own lives and gave their own lives because America was attacked 20 years ago. And now, just before you had a report on the border, he opened our border. We just released 5,000 prisoners in Afghanistan. We have been catching people on the terrorist watch list this year coming across the border. We are less safe today than we were 20 years ago. They now have more Black Hawk helicopters than Australia has. They have drones. They have weaponry that we wouldn't want any other army to have. That is what this administration has done, and they spent their time spending trillions of dollars instead of focusing on the protection of America.
Yeah, they have thousands of night vision goggles in 2001 and 2002. We ran the night because we had the NVGs and they did not. So we could do things they could never get. Now they got all of it now. React to this. Wall Street Journal, Biden's rush to the Afghan exits. Here's what I think is the key paragraph here, sir. Mr. Biden's bloody-minded refusal to adapt to the collapse of the Afghan government and military is another reminder that electing a U.S. president is the fateful choice. Character matters, but character has many parts. One is judgment. Another is the courage to admit a mistake and regroup. Mr. Biden is failing on both counts. With 3.5 years to go in his presidency, the world is going to become much more dangerous. End quote. Your reaction to that?
I think they have 100% correct. We watched every crisis in this new administration that he ran from it, that he ignored it. First it became the border. He couldn't call it a crisis. Then he pushed it off to the VP. We watched ransomware come in. What do you think the Taliban thought when they watched that weakness? What do you think China and Russia believe? What do you think is going to happen in the future now to Taiwan or to the Baltics or to the Eastern Europe, based upon what President Biden's actions have been recently? It is putting us in harm's way. And they couldn't be more for the truth on what they simply said right there.
Leader, could I ask you one thing about the fact that you have spent a lot of the past few years recruiting veterans who have fought in Iraq and Afghanistan to fight. And yesterday they held a press conference and we took it in. You could just feel their anguish. And I wonder if you could reflect on that just as we wrap up here in the little time that we have, because I thought that was quite remarkable yesterday.
I want to thank anyone who fought, and especially the Gold Star families. But more importantly, it isn't about one party. I watched Democrat veterans stand up, and it's emotionally moving because they've seen what's happened on the ground. They've watched their friends die. I have members who've lost limbs, legs, eyes. This is personal to them of what their sacrifices are. And to watch the commander-in-chief sit back and take the Taliban for our foreign policy, you'd understand why they'd get in a plane and go there themselves. Every single veteran that is serving in Congress has told me they'd go back tomorrow if given the opportunity. And
we'll be talking to one of the Democrats in just a little bit on our show as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir. Kevin McCarthy.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.